In today's video, we're going to be talking about burnout and some common ways to help avoid it. Roll that intro. What's going on, guys? Chad here from How To Tech, the channel dedicated to helping you take your tech to the next level. And today we're going to be talking about burnout, what it is and how to avoid it. And I want to go ahead and state that this video is not specifically just about managing burnout for YouTube. We're going to talk about some common things that might help pretty much anybody, whether that is YouTube, whether that's streaming, whether that's creating videos for other platforms such as TikTok or whatever else you may be doing. We're going to try to help you manage that burnout. And if you guys are already a subscriber of the channel, you might notice, hey, you're making a video about burnout and you haven't uploaded for a decent amount of time. And yes, that's why I think this video is very relevant, because it's to remind myself about this. And I know about burnout. I've been doing YouTube for quite a few years, and it's something that I understand of what it is, and I've dealt with it a lot, and it's hard for me to personally manage. So maybe this video will be a good stepping stone for me to say, hey, you know what burnout is, you've told people about burnout, now practice what you preach. So we're gonna see if that holds true, and I hope it does, because I really want to put more effort and more time into YouTube without it kind of dragging me down. So let's talk about burnout just a little bit before we get into some of the things that we can do to help prevent it. Well, burnout is essentially just you not wanting to do the things that you actually like doing. Yes, you can have burnout from things that you don't really care to do, such as work, which is why a vacation is always a good idea. And it's kind of the same way whenever it comes to creative burnout, whether that's creating YouTube content and you're not a full-time YouTuber, or even if you are a full-time YouTuber, it can affect anybody, and no matter what you're doing, whether that's creating art and maybe it's making videos, maybe that's live streaming. There are a ton of different things that can be affected by what we would call burnout. And that's just simply the process of just not wanting to do it, whether that is any number of reasons. But mainly it's just from doing it over and over and over again to the point where you're like, man, I really need a break from this, or I just don't want to do this anymore. Maybe you do want to do it more, you just don't want to do it right now, and that's because of burnout. So yes, I have been dealing with burnout actually for probably the last 3 to 4 months, and it sucks because if you go back and look at some of the upload history on my channel, I was releasing 5 videos sometimes a week, and then to go more than a month without releasing content. Yes, at times that was me trying to improve the content, and yes, at times I would consider myself a perfectionist. I'm like, I don't like the lighting, I don't like the color correction and the color grading of the video, like I just didn't do a good job of it. Or maybe I don't like the audio. Maybe I think the audio sounds bad compared to past stuff I've done. And I've made videos on how to get good audio, but sometimes whenever you record a video and you don't have much time and the audio just doesn't come out good and you're like, I don't have time to re-record this, it can be discouraging. And that is from a YouTube perspective, but it can be the same thing with all these other things. Maybe it's you're not enjoying doing your art as much and it doesn't come out as good as what you want it to be. So you're like, I just don't want to do it right now. And that leads me to the first thing, is that you need to take breaks, whether that's like with work, you take a vacation, or anything else in life. You can set aside time and say, hey, I'm not going to do this then. But before we get to taking breaks, the first thing I would say is try to come up with a healthy schedule for the thing that you're doing, whether that's YouTube, live streaming, or anything else. A healthy schedule is going to make it just that healthier for you. You're not going to be as stressed about it. It's not going to bother you as much. And you're going to know what times you're going to be working on it, whether that's setting aside a few hours a week or, a few hours in multiple days throughout the week and saying, hey, I'm just going to focus on this and this time and not worry about anything else. That can help out a ton. Maybe that is scaling back some of the work that you're doing to make sure your work's better and you enjoy it quite a bit more. That's what I'm going to be looking at for here on How To Tech, is coming up with an actual routine, schedule, and just all of that other stuff to help make it better for me, and hopefully you can apply those tips and do the same thing for yourself. Another thing that you could do is try to manage the thing that you're working on quite a bit more. So having a proper workflow or project management for the content you're making, or just taking a list of things that you want to do to your stream, or things that you want to do in your art, or maybe things that you want to learn about, And go ahead and do that. Manage what you need to do. That way it doesn't become as stressful and overwhelming, because burnout in itself, while it can just be tiring, it could also be from stuff being overwhelming. A good example, and the reason why I've had burnout, honestly, is I just bought a new webcam. And it's a 4K camera, and trying to learn how to use it, and then how to use it with better audio. And I've got other audio equipment and I just can't get it to work as well as something like this microphone, and it bothers me. And I will spend 2 to 3 hours trying to figure that out instead of recording a video, and also trying to figure out how to get this color card right here to help make my colors look better in my video. It's just another rabbit hole of things that complicate what you're trying to do, makes it more overwhelming, and then you just get to the point where you have burnout from it. And trying to manage the things and maybe learning and introducing some of these things, if you're adding new things, is to do them one at a time and figure out how to add those into the things that you currently do. Or maybe just take a day and try to learn all these things instead of saying, hey, I'm going to use all this new stuff and I'm going to make a video right now. Because that for me is not just overwhelming, but with me wanting my stuff and new equipment to be better than the old equipment I've got sitting over there, it turns into this kind of point of where I want it to be better, but it's not right now. And I just bought better equipment and I put this money into it, and it's just like, oh gosh, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of stuff to figure out, and it can be overwhelming. So burnout can be from a ton of different things, but some tips that I would suggest is go ahead, create some kind of schedule for yourself, try to get into a routine, make sure that schedule is healthy. So get into a healthy routine, I guess is what I would say. And then find a way to manage your projects or the things that you're working on. Those will help out a ton. And then the last thing, or the third thing I guess I would say, is take breaks. Make it possible for you to take breaks. And if you do something like YouTube or streaming, for example, streaming is a little bit harder to do this. But with YouTube and even art and other things, what I would suggest is doing batch work. And if you don't know what that is, a lot of content creators actually do this. It's called batching content, and this is normally used in a term for rendering videos and stuff inside of video editing programs. But what you would essentially do is say, okay, I'll have a good schedule, and maybe I'll make one extra video a week for the next 4 weeks. And maybe I only release one video a week on my channel. So what I would then be doing at that point is creating enough content to take off the next month. Maybe I'll still decide to make another video or two in that month, but I've got enough content kind of in my back catalog that I can throw at the channel whenever I'm just feeling like, hey, I don't want to do this right now. I want to take some time off. I want to go do this. I just don't want to worry about it this week. And that is a good way of trying to kind of get the burnout just away from you, just kind of moving it away. Say, hey, let's take that break. We've got our content scheduled. We have our project managed and all this other stuff that we're doing, and it's just going to make it easier for you. So I hope this brief talk about burnout and just kind of giving you my thoughts and the reasons of why I haven't been uploading can give you a little bit more insight into what burnout really is, and that you're not alone with it. I mean, a lot of people experience burnout, even the big YouTubers, and you'll see it from time to time. A lot of people decide to take breaks, and then within like the next month to 3 months, they're back doing what they would normally do. And these are some ways to just kind of make it less likely for you to burn out. I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you guys for watching. Check the links down below for all the social media, community Discord, and all that other cool stuff. And subscribe to the channel, like this video, all that stuff as well. This has been Chad from How To Tech, helping you take your tech to the next level, and hopefully helping you keep from having to deal with burnout whenever it comes to whatever creative outlet you're dealing with. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace.